What's going on, my broskiis? My name is Toadski, back again, here to bring you guys yet another One Piece Treasure Cruise video, and today this is going to be a pure discussion video in regards to what we might be able to see come New Year's celebration. Now, I know Treasure Cruise isn't in the best of shape right now, and I do understand that a lot of people are probably not that excited about it anyways, but still, let's just have a bit of a discussion and just think about what we might see for New Year's. Remember, I've been saying over the last couple of months that you should be saving your rainbow gems for this moment. Typically, the characters that come out on New Year's are the biggest releases of the year in terms of the power level that they typically release. We've seen over the past few years, right? If you even go back to like 2021, we had like Goldie Roger. When he came out for the first time, it was a monumental release, arguably one of the biggest celebrations of all time in Treasure Cruise history. The year after that, we had Luffy and the Straw Hats, Roger and Newgate dual unit. Obviously, that was a massive release as well. The year after that, Kaido versus Yamato, which is a bit of a weird one. Some people like it, some people don't like it that much. But then, you had Legend Nami, Legend Robin, these characters that were just huge power spikes, right? With the huge conditional boost from Nami, all the utility that she provides, her Super Tandem was phenomenal, and then Robin with double stacking conditional boosts. We move on to the year after that, being last year's New Year's celebration. We had characters like Roger and Odin, which was a bit of a stinker. I was never really a big fan of that character. You had the dual Yamato, which is one of the hardest hitting final taps in the entire game. Very good character that saw a lot of play in Super Boss Kizunas. And then you obviously had Zoro and Sanji, which is the best character in the game, still a year later, right? So we are expecting big things to come out for the New Year's celebration. Now, this video is going to be talking about what we might see. I have no idea personally about what is coming, so this is just going to be pure speculation. We could be completely wrong. I'm going to have something that I think goes with the theory, and then I have one that would be like my ideal situation. So we'll go through it. Let's talk about what's coming up, or what has been releasing in the month of December thus far, because sometimes, at least what has happened in the past, characters that release in December sometimes will link and have some kind of synergy with the characters that come out for the New Year's celebration. Just speaking about last year, at the start of December, you had Quick Momonosuke and Quick Hiyori being both quick slasher focus units, and then come New Year's, the whole batch of the New Year's stuff was basically quick units that were also slasher that had synergy, right? So at the start of this month, we obviously had the release of Odin and Kara and all that. And look, to be honest, I have a feeling those characters are not going to have synergy with the New Year's units. I feel like that's just the end of the celebration that came out beforehand with the Captain Shift units. And I think starting from after that with the PvP Legend of York, I think this is where we can kind of pivot and think what could be coming for New Year's. So York was the PvP legend for this month, and you know, the unit is interesting, of course. It's another Vegapunk unit, so the unit's going to be int and cerebral. That's exactly what has happened. Moving on from that, we had Stussy, another egghead focus unit. This is another way to buff the Vegapunk team. Basically, this unit is incredibly strong. One of my favorite like legend designs, I think, that they've come out this year. I think out of all the characters that have come out this year, Cross Guild probably is my favorite legend that has come out. But this would definitely be up there. I think just in terms of unit design, this unit is really cool, very unique, and is a very strong unit as well. So I really like what they did with Stussy. Again, another egghead focus unit. Moving on, we have the Kizuna legend that has just been revealed, which is going to be Shaka, Pythagoras, and Edison. And again, another egghead focus unit buffing the Vegapunk team. So I think that could be where they could be going, where they could be giving us more Vegapunk stuff for the New Year's celebration. However, I do think it might be a little bit more nuanced than that. I don't think that the end of year celebration is going to be specifically Vegapunk focused. I think just in general it will be egghead focused. Now, as much as I would love them to release characters that are not currently in the anime, I don't think that's going to happen, just purely because the anime is on break. And because of that, I think they're kind of stuck in a little bit of a weird situation where they kind of have to give us characters that are pre-existing in the game already, which is a bit of a shame. I want to bring your attention to this as well. So this is the current rule set for the current PvP Pirate Rumble season. Now, what we can extrapolate from this is typically the rule set will potentially can give us a bit of a hint as to what is coming at the end of the month, because during the championship series you can see it's going to be from, or like you can see Block C is going to be from December 30 to Jan 9. The New Year's celebration will be around December 26, 27, 28, in that range. And you see like I don't know why it says check in-game rules, but then for the exhibition, usually if we go by the exhibition we can tell what's going to happen. So we can see int gets a buff, strength gets a buff, Fighter gets a buff, and Slasher will be buffed as well. So my thinking is if they are going to go down this route, what could they be giving us in the New Year's celebration? So my first guess for what is going to be coming for the New Year's celebration is going to be none other than Gear 5 Luffy versus Rob Lucci on Egghead. Now, as much as we love this fight in the anime, it was phenomenal, by the way. I think a lot of people would be kind of pissed if we got like another Luffy versus unit for the New Year's celebration, and the fact that the New Year's celebration would be Rob Lucci. I think a lot of people would be kind of mad about that, but at the same time, they could definitely make this character insanely busted. And I definitely think it would be a versus unit. And, you know, we've had versus units obviously come out relatively recently, you know, with the whole versus celebration, Luffy, Kaido, Blackbeard Law, Kid, and Shanks. These units are very strong. And not only that, is that they're incredibly valuable units to have as well, because it's basically 2 units combined into 1. So I do think that this is a unit that not a lot of people would like, but I do think that they could do some really cool stuff with it. I love the little animation thing that plays when you tap on the Luffy versus Kaido character. I think, what do they call it? Like action artwork or whatever it's called. I would love for them to do more of that because they just look really cool, and I would love to see that with Luffy versus Lucci. Now look, this is just pure speculation. We don't know what's coming yet, but considering what has happened in the month thus far, this is probably going to be my initial guess. Now, with that, we go back to the rule set. That probably would cover the fighter class. I mean, you could technically classify Lucci as almost a slasher, but I do think as a fighter, that would probably cover that as Luffy versus Lucci. Now, I don't think this is going to be the only legend that debuts alongside it. My assumption is that there's going to be at least 3 legends for the New Year's celebration. I don't have 3 guesses for this one celebration, but I do think to come along with that would be a Zoro versus Kaku character, or you could have a singular Zoro or a singular Kaku, or a dual unit. Not really too sure about that, but if you're gonna have Luffy versus Lucci, I think having Kaku and Zoro right next to it would actually be pretty cool. And once again, this would probably cover the Slasher class championship rule set, so that would be pretty neat. And look, it depends on how they want to do things, but if they go down the versus route, having 2 versus units in the same Sugo Fest, I think would be a little crazy, so they probably won't do that, but hey, it's just an assumption. They could definitely do that. They could definitely have it as a dual unit potentially, because obviously they did fight together for a short period of time. That would be pretty neat if they went down that route as well, but personally, I'm not a big fan of dual units, so I hope they don't do that. They could potentially do a fake dual unit where it's 2 units as one, but then it's like a EX super character, like what they did with Roger and Odin, for example. That character wasn't a dual unit, but hey, they had EX super and basically was like a normal unit. So if they went down that route, I would be cool with that too. So this is what I think is most likely going to happen, is it's going to be maybe Straw Hat focused, maybe Luffy focused, but probably sticking with Egghead. That's going to be my guess. Now, I do have another guess as for like my most ideal situation, right? So I want to bring your attention to this. Now, this was submitted like 3 years ago. This was where they accidentally leaked that Roger was going to be the New Year's Sugo Fest. It was kind of wild. You can see here, posted on the 11th of December 2020. So the Sugo Fest came out, I believe it was like the 26th, 27th, 28th, and this was posted on the 18th. So over a week before the Sugo Fest, this was leaked on a Japanese website. There was like a there was an advertisement that just showed Roger was coming to the game. It was hilarious, but people lost their minds. I mean, like, people saying, you know, the 31st of December is Roger's birthday, so it makes sense. Still remember talking to my friends at the start of OPTC when Roger came out having like a 5 times attack boost for his captain ability. Doesn't seem crazy, and yeah, he actually ended up having a 5 times captain ability back when he debuted. Top grossing incoming, and I think they actually did reach top grossing. So this is what I'm saying. The amount of hype that was surrounding Goldie Roger was monumental. It was insane. People lost their minds that Roger was actually coming into the game. Now, what is another character that has the same aura as this? Like the same draw? Like the character that, you know, it's like the push or like the break in case of emergency option. You know what I mean? And I feel like there is a character who's really powerful that we know is in the series that hasn't had representation in the game thus far. And I would love it to come into the game for this New Year's celebration. And that's going to be this guy right here. So I just pulled up this artwork of the One Piece TCG, because this could be potentially how they introduce it. The Revolutionary Army batch of Monkey D. Dragon, I think, would be so sick. If they ended up going with a solo Monkey D. Dragon character, and then you have a separate legend that's potentially like a Sabo with like the lead revolutionaries from the different forces, like North, South, East, West, with Lindbergh, Belu Betty, Karasu, Morley. You could potentially do like an Ivankov, like a solo legend as well, which Ivankov hasn't had representation yet. That would be insane, dude. I would be so pumped for that. You could even do potentially like a captain shift character with like a Dragon Sabo, something like that. Like that would be pretty sick too. So they could do so many cool things with this, and the fact that Dragon has not had representation in the game yet, if they brought him out for this New Year's celebration, bro, it's over. Like that would be insane. And the reason why I wanted to bring up like the Roger post in general was because people lost their minds. People didn't think this was ever going to happen. And Dragon, over 10 years this game has been out, we haven't had Dragon representation yet. Now, I understand that he hasn't really been in the series much, but neither has Roger up until that point. Neither has Shanks, and Shanks has a bunch of legends, you know what I mean? So I think that it would be neat if we had this. That's my best case scenario. Not expecting this to happen at all, but we'll see what happens, right? Anyways, guys, thank you so much for watching the video. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. What do you think is going to be for the New Year celebration of 2024 into 2025? Hopefully you enjoyed the video. If you did, make sure to go ahead and leave a like. And if you want to stay up to date with all the content I post, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. And that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.